Great day, grade 4 students. Once again, this is a wonderful day to have a scientific class with Miss Shara. Let us start with reading our work plan for today. Thirsty? Yes. Next is discussion on sources of water. Then you'll have scientific activity and thumb it. Wow, refreshing. Thirsty? I am. Today, after I drink and look at the glass of water, I wonder where it comes from. The only thing I know is I have to drink a clean water or boiled water to ensure I stay healthy. We drink water every day. But have you ever wondered where water comes from? Let's find out. First, let's have a bit about science. Did you know these 10 surprising facts about water? Only 3% of the Earth's water is fresh water. Over 68% of fresh water on Earth is trapped in glaciers. Water regulates the Earth's temperature. The human brain is 75% water. A person can only live about a week without water. So water is part of a deeply interconnected system. We are thirsty. We get thirsty. When we are thirsty, we drink. And we can only drink fresh water, and that is composed of only 3% of the Earth's water. So today, our learning target, let me read it for you. I can identify and describe the sources of water. Right. Our lesson covered for today is about sources of water. Where do we get water? Where do we get water? Where do water sources get water from? We drink water every day. We get water mainly from rain. Our main sources of water for drinking, washing, agriculture, and industry are surface water, groundwater, and collected rainwater, all of which are dependent on rain and snow falling on the Earth's surface. There are mainly three natural sources of water. First is the rainwater. Rain is liquid water in the form of droplets that have condensed from atmospheric water vapor and then become heavy enough to fall under gravity. Number two is underground water or groundwater. Groundwater refers to any source of water that lies beneath the soil layer. Groundwater can exist in the soil itself or between rocks and other materials. Groundwater is water that exists underground in saturated zones beneath the land surface. And of course, the number three, surface water. Surface water can include any above-ground collection of water such as rivers, lakes, ponds, and oceans. Some sources of surface water are also fed by underground aquifers. Surface water accounts for 80% of the water humans use. Surface water is any body of water above ground, including streams. The ocean, despite being salt water, is also considered surface water. Sources of water is divided into two: man-made sources of water and natural sources of water. Now let's talk about natural sources of water. Natural sources of water. So natural means it exists without any actions of humankind. First is the rain. So it is the main source of water. Rain falls on earth and fill other water bodies. Rainwater flows into rivers and finds its way back into the sea. Rainwater also gets stored in some natural and artificial lakes. Oceans. Oceans contain more than 90% of the Earth's natural water reserves. Made up of salt water, oceans are as old as the plain itself. This water cannot be used due to a large quantity of salts dissolved in it. However, oceans are the ultimate source of all water on Earth. Streams. A stream is a body of water that flows on Earth's surface. The word stream often used interchangeably with river, though rivers usually describe larger streams. As smaller streams flow downhill, they often merge together to form larger streams. Streams and rivers are natural sources of moving fresh water that can be found in every country in the world. Rivers can be so tiny that you can literally step over them, or like the Mississippi River, they can be so vast that most people couldn't swim across them. Rivers empty into bodies of water like lakes, basins, reservoirs, and even the oceans. Lakes. Freshwater lakes are inland and found throughout every region of the planet. Some lakes, however, have some saltwater content or brackish water. Ponds. A pond is a small area of still fresh water. It is different from a river or a stream because it does not have moving water, and it differs from a lake because it has a small area and is no more than around 1.8 meter deep. Another natural sources of water is springs. These are found where underground water flows out of the ground naturally without the use of bores, wells, or pumps. Springs often occur towards the bottom of a hill or on a sloping ground. Then we have ice caps. So of the 3% of Earth's water considered fresh water, 70% of that small amount is currently locked in glaciers and ice caps. In theory, frozen glacial and ice cap water could be melted and used, but the amount of energy needed to melt and transport vast quantities of ice make it economically impractical. So glaciers and ice caps also plays vitally important roles in the regulation of Earth's climates and global temperatures, making their preservation very important. Now let's talk about man-made sources of water. From the word man-made, so these are the sources of water that humans made. First example is canals. Canals are waterways, channels, or artificial waterways for water conveyance or to service water transport vehicles. They may also help with irrigation. It can be thought of as an artificial version of a river. Hand pumps are manually operated pumps. They use human power and mechanical advantage to move fluids or air from one place to another. They are widely used in every country in the world for a variety of industrial, marine irrigation, and leisure activities. This one is dug or bored wells that creates holes in the ground dug by shovels or backhoe. They are lined with stones, bricks, tiles, or other materials to prevent collapse. It's a mechanical well, so it is moving using the wheel. Yan, mechanical wells. The water is coming out of the well. This one is another type of well, but this is a well that is excavated or structure created in the ground by digging, driving, or drilling to access liquid resources, usually water. The oldest and most common kind of well is a water well to access groundwater in underground aquifers. And this one is another type of well. This is called a tube well. This one is an artisan well from which water flows under natural pressure without pumping. It is dug or drilled wherever a gently dipping permeable rock layer receives water along its outcrop at a level higher than the level of the surface of the ground at the well site. So this is continuous. The water is flowing out. A tube well is a type of water well in which long 100 to 200 millimeters, 3.9 to 7.9 inch wide stainless steel tube or pipe is bored into underground aquifer. Right, so this is another example of a tube well. The lower end is fitted with a strainer and the pump tips water for irrigation. Most rivers get flooded during the monsoons and have lower levels of water during the rest of the year. To solve these problems, dams are constructed at suitable locations on rivers. Have we reached our target for today? Yes, we identified and described the sources of water. So now we know where we get the drinking water that we use every day. So the main sources of water are categorized into three: surface water, groundwater, and rainwater. And it is further divided into two types: man-made source of water and natural source of water. Before we end our sessions, perhaps some of you are aware that Benjamin Franklin is attributed with saying, "When the well is dry, we know the value of water." So another way of interpreting this saying is that you never know what you have until it is gone. So a twist on this phrase is the expression, "You'll never miss the water till the well runs dry." So both expressions are wake-up call to take time to cherish the people in our lives who mean so much to us and to be mindful of what we do have because it could be gone tomorrow. When we dig deep into the well of our being, we can see also whether we are glass half empty person or half full person. We can ask ourselves whether we hold on to a pessimistic or optimistic worldview. And we can try to shift our perspective if we find ourselves needing to move from the negative to the positive. So, in other words, let us be grateful of the things that we have today. Okay? Thank you, grade 4 student, for listening. Once again, another scientific day with Miss Shara. Stay home, everyone.